Hey, what's up everyone? Thank you for joining me for another video. Let's just go and jump straight into today's topic. We're going to talk about the state of gaming, and this is something I'm probably going to touch on in future videos because I've been thinking a lot about the state of gaming when it comes to both Microsoft and Nintendo and Sony and everybody. But we're going to talk specifically about EA right now. And EA has recently come out and they said that they love microtransactions and they think that it's the state that gaming needs to be in. Now, I'm kind of imbalanced about this. I'm going to play devil's advocate for just a moment and say that I do kind of think that that's true because I know that we're in a state where gaming costs a lot of money. And games are staying financially at $60 because that just seems to be the sweet spot. People complain if they go up to $65 or $70. So they need to come up with new ways, if you will. Loot crates, DLC, microtransactions, new ways to keep people investing in this game so that they can recoup the money. I get it, to an extent, because I also think that that's bullcrap. And here's the reason why. Breath of the Wild has DLC that was only $20 or $10 for each one that you wanted to buy. And it sold millions of copies, and I don't know how much money Nintendo has made back. I'm not a financial analyst or anything like that. But I believe that they have recouped a good bit of money back. And all the good that they're receiving from like getting Game of the Year and all this good praise that they're getting for putting time and effort into a good game means that they're going to sell more Switches. Or they're going to sell more Wii U's, and they're going to sell more copies of Breath of the Wild on either the Wii U or the Switch. Makes sense. EA's approach, not so much. Because they said that they sold about 7 million copies. Okay, I don't know about you, but 7 million is a lot. And at $60 a pop, that's a lot of money. Now, I understand that there are stockholders and investors and all this stuff that they don't want to just make their money back even and call it a day. They want to make as much money back as possible. I would understand fully myself. If I invested my time, effort, and money into a game, I would want to get as much money back as possible. But that's also greed. Just pure and simple. I mean, you can throw any kind of excuse out there that you want. It's greed. Pure and simple. Because even if you knock this game down to $50 and say that it only sold 60,000 copies, or 6,000 copies, I'm sorry, 6 million copies, that's $120 million. That's a lot of money. And I understand that EA is a huge corporation. Again, they have all kinds of people, who knows how many investors and stuff like that. I get it. But at the same time, it is kind of greedy because, you know, this is just me and my rationalization. I'm the kind of person that I'm willing to put more money down on a game. I mean, clearly, I spent $60 on Breath of the Wild and another $20 for the DLC. I would spend another $20 for more good DLCs. That means I would spend $100 on a good Zelda game. A really, really good Zelda game. So, I'm willing to spend $70, $80 on a game if you can give me a full game experience. And I'm even willing to go down to $30 or $40 on a like a port or something else if you want to just make it be like, you know what, this is just like a 4 or 5 hour adventure, like, you know, Sonic Mania, something like that. Something that's just like old school, doesn't really need a full investment into it. I'm okay with that. So, we need to find this balance somewhere. We need to find something new, because I don't think that microtransactions are going to work. You know, I mean, after all, look at things like Destiny and all that stuff like that. I feel like, I mean, I got away from Destiny because I felt like Destiny 2 was such a slap in the face with how they were handling content. And just, you know, I don't even like Battlefront. I never played the first one. I have no interest in the second one. I have no interest in playing Star Wars games, period. But the simple matter of the fact is that this is just greed, pure and simple. And, you know, I think that you could have made your money back if you'd done it differently. Like if you had come out with a full game, all characters are instantly unlocked, and you can get them without having to grind for hundreds and hundreds of hours to get them. And you offered something different, like, I don't know, an exclusive map or something that's just a little bit extra. And you kept coming out with, and again, I know that you have DICE that's working on it, so you have to pay them, and you have to pay the people at EA, so we're split here, and I know that companies, they want to make back 10, 20 times the profit, but that's just unrealistic. Unrealistic, because you have to think that not every game is going to appeal to everybody, because people instantly throw like the Grand Theft Auto 5 out there, and one, I don't care about Grand Theft Auto either, but Grand Theft Auto also appeals to a wider audience because there's so much stuff you can do. You're talking about an open world game where you can do pretty much anything you want to do. That's going to appeal to anybody. You can't sit here and expect a shooter that's designed for Star Wars fans to appeal to 100 million people. You know, you can't. And even if you do expect it, because there might be 120 million Star Wars fans or something like that, not all of them are going to be interested in shooters. Not all of them are going to be interested in Battlefront. Not all of them are going to be interested in playing Star Wars games. So I would rather just go watch the movies and call it a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with Star Trek, I love Star Trek, but I'm not out there investing money in every single Star Trek game that comes out. I just don't care that much about that. I just don't care about the series that much to think of it as a video game adventure. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against Star Wars. But that's just how I feel about it. So at the end of the day, I think that it's a little bit greedy to expect everybody that's a Star Wars fan, or anybody that's a shooter fan, or anybody that just likes video games, period, to go off and buy this game and invest hundreds of dollars into it just so that way you can keep a job. If you want to keep your job, maybe you should do like Nintendo and come out with actual games that give you a full experience from the get-go, and then offer a little bit here and there to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Because clearly, I mean, even if you want to use Rockstar, clearly they did something right with Grand Theft Auto 5. Because last time I heard, Grand Theft Auto 5 wasn't coming out with DLC. And Grand Theft Auto 5 isn't going around tooting all these microtransactions and all these loot crates or whatever. I mean, I'm sure they have it in there because I think there's something called shark cards that I heard about. But it's not this big deal that they have to go out and promote, and it's not making, you know, news because of how it works. So something needs to be done to change this. And that's just my 2 cents on the matter. I know that it was a little bit more of a ramble and a little bit more of a rant. But that's just me kind of putting my 2 cents in there and saying, look, this isn't right. This is greed, any way you look at it. Because 7 million copies is a lot. Okay? Trust me, I've seen a lot of games, especially ones that came out for the Wii U, and even systems in the past, and even some games that are currently out, that have not sold anywhere near 7 million copies. So, 7 million, 8 million, however many copies you sold of the game, that's a lot. And you should just be happy that you sold anything. You know what I'm saying? You should be happy that you sold anything at all. Because at the end of the day, you could be one of those developers that people are just like, you know what? We're done with you, and we're not buying any game that comes out from you anymore. And you make nothing. But going back to playing devil's advocate for a moment, we do need to figure out something different. Whether that means meaningful microtransactions, whether that means meaningful boxes, you know? Like, I'm instantly thinking of, like, premium boxes, for an example. Like, I'm currently playing Horizon Zero Dawn, for an example. And they give you the opportunity to buy these special boxes that give you loot, that give you, like, rope and wire and all that stuff that you can craft with. But I couldn't imagine paying for every single one of those with real-time money. Maybe I can give myself more money. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if you had it to where, like, okay, Star Wars, I think, uses credits, for an example. And maybe you can give yourself 1,000 credits for $1 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? To sort of boost it along, but you can still earn actual in-game currency to buy it, and you just lower the amount. Then that might be a little bit more fair. Instead of making it towards like, look, it's 80,000 coins instead of 10,000 coins, and you have to either boost for, grind forever to get to that, or give us $80. Like, okay. Because I know that they can blow up in people's face. I mean, look at Evolve. Evolve basically hid all of its games behind this paywall, and it was ridiculous, and it blew up in their face. They got greedy. And I don't want to see games go down this route to where all we see them as is just a subscription service like Netflix that you have to pay us every month to keep playing this game. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm not going to pay you then. Because that's not how gaming should be. Microtransactions are okay. DLC is okay when it's done right, when it's done in a meaningful manner. So as long as we can do it and figure out a way to make it right and to make it a way to it actually means something, I think gamers will support that and they'll buy the game. But until then, you gotta stop with the greedy practices, EA. As well as all the other developers out there that get greedy. You gotta stop it. But I think I've rambled on for long enough, guys. Thanks for watching, as always. Like, subscribe if you want. No big deal. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.